Hi, everyone. My name is Andrea Koperlova, and I'm a product and project manager for the ECC developed mobile wallet Zashi. Thank you for joining us at ZconV and for deciding to spend some time learning more about Zashi. If you watched Josh's ECC update, you already know a lot about the big picture. So my goal for today is to dive deeper into our plans and the related SDK updates. And I will do a little recap of Zashi's launch, give you a little sneak peek into our coming release, and share with you our future plans. We are electric coin company, as you know. We are building a full stack user experience for Zcash so you can be free. Why we do it? Because our goal is to empower everyone with financial freedom. And how we do it? Well, we strive to deliver products that provide financial privacy, dignity, self-sovereignty, and freedom. As sketch as it may appear to some, to keep repeating these words as a strange kind of mantra, I think it's really important. I think these words are uniting us. They are helping us create aspirational goals that we can all work towards together. And even if we won't reach the goals within our lifetimes, I am perfectly convinced that each and every one of us is contributing to making it possible to reach those goals in the future. And this is Zashi, right? In addition to the Zcash protocol, the principal product of ECC is the Zashi wallet. And I want to share with you a little bit from behind the scenes of Zashi's launch, because it's quite an inspirational story. The release date was set as ZBoot effectively on the 1st of February in 2024, and the decision has been made to ship Zashi early. It has been an ambitious deadline for all of us, and I've been tasked to make sure that we clarify the scope for 1.0 launch and making sure that we will adhere to the deadlines. But this is hardly a success story of mine. This is a success story of the whole ECC team, who literally pushed to their limits. Multiple weekends and countless nights have been spent writing code, reviewing PRs, testing, and making sure that we will succeed by meeting this ambitious deadline. We launched Zashi iOS on March 28th, and to date, we already have 1,500 downloads. Zashi Android has been released on April 28th, so a month later, and we already had 854 downloads to date. I would like to also mention that we collected 1.3K open beta users, which is definitely impressive, and they did play a crucial part in Zashi's path to launch. So definitely want to give a shout out to our beta testing community, who helped us very much. Now to the fun facts, right? I would love to share two fun facts, one from Zashi iOS launch and one from Android launch, because we have met quite a few unexpected challenges. Fun fact number one, just a few hours before the day of the release, while we were trying to push an update with urgent fixes, we ended up staying up until morning hours, arguing with App Store about a rejection. And basically, they demanded us adding a new feature one day before we were supposed to launch. So that was definitely unexpected, and I think that this is fine. Jeff kind of illustrates the situation very well. We did make it happen, though, but we faced another unexpected challenge with Zashi Android. Fun fact number two. On the day we were hoping to launch Zashi Android, the Light LED servers went down, and they were followed by the announcement of the servers phase out. So we ended up having to replace and switch to Violet and Zagrok's servers. Shout out to Emersonian and Han for allowing us to do that. And what ended up happening is effectively pushing the release date to the magical date of April 28th, So until now, we're really not sure if it was fate or coincidence. What followed after Zashi's launch was something truly incredible, because the community has prepared an overwhelmingly positive welcome for Zashi. Until today, we have collected 45 five-star reviews on App Store, and so our App Store rating right now is 4.9. On Google Play Store, even though we are live for basically just a little over 2 weeks, or a little less than 2 weeks, our average rating is 4.56. And it's only because of all of you, because of all the good and positive feedback that you shared with us. And it didn't end there. We saw an overwhelming welcome also across the social networks. We watched people making tutorials for Zashi. We watched them spreading the good word and helping us promote it. There was even a song written about Zashi. Shout out to Zerocash, of course. So it's been really amazing, and we want to thank you so much for allowing us to, launch with such a positive feedback. Well, as you all know, the launch of a product is just the beginning. And in my view, it's a beginning of an open conversation with a public forum of users. We made a decision, and we want to ship fast and often. We want to iterate with you, Zcash users, because that's who we are building the mobile wallet for. Ooh, finally, demo time. I did tell you that in the beginning that I want to share a sneak peek into our upcoming release. And so effectively, before let me express my thanks to Lukáš, our iOS developer who prepared the demo for you, and to Honza, our Android developer who helped along the way. All right, so you can see on the screen that we have side-by-side iOS simulator and an Android emulator. You can probably guess the first feature that is new, and that's a dark mode on iOS. You can see that we are taking one of the possible paths on the iOS simulator and restoring a wallet. As you can see, the restore has been successful, and now we can see the progress inside the syncing widget on the iOS simulator. At the same time, we're going to also launch the Android Zashi, which is yet in the light mode. And we are going to take the second path that a user can take after launching the Zashi wallet. And that's effectively a creation of a new wallet. After confirming the button, we see a security warning where we need to get consent from the user to share crash reports with us. And after the confirmation, the most important step in a creation of a new wallet comes, and we display the secret recovery phrase to the user, which should, of course, get saved in a secure spot. So we have created a new wallet on Android, and we're going to prepare for demonstration of another new feature. As you can see, we navigated to the receive screen, and we are going to proceed by taking a screenshot of the unified address. The next feature we will demonstrate is going to be basically shown by sending a transaction. And the tweak that we added here for usability purposes is being able to scan a QR code from a photo saved in your library. So we're going to navigate to the send form. And inside the send form, we click on the icon with the QR code and on the new photo library icon. And by selecting the QR code, you can see that the address automatically filled in the address field. We are going to send 1 ZAC as a demonstration, enter a memo copy, and then we will proceed by reviewing the transaction. We are happy with the transaction and we confirm the send. Here, I just want to mention that for the purpose of the demo and for not taking too long, we have effectively made a cut here. So the display of the transaction, of the receiving transaction, may take in reality slightly longer than what we are showing in the demo right now. So just be mindful of that. And the transaction has already popped up for us. We can see it receiving on the Android emulator. We can expand the transaction, copy a memo, or copy the transaction ID. But what we are going to do now is demonstrate another feature. You can see that there is a new icon with an eye. And when you tap on it, you basically hide balances across your wallet. So you hide balances on the account screen, on the balances screen, and additionally also on the send screen. By tapping on the icon again, you can show the balances and make them visible again. The last UI tweak that we want to show you is adding a toggle on the receive screen because we want to be mindful of the user feedback, and we know that some of the smaller devices have had issues with being able to display the transparent address. So we added a toggle so that you can navigate very easily between the unified and transparent address now. And that's the end of the demo. Let me just navigate to the next slide. Okay, there we go. And I hope you liked it. A little delightful information for you. We have effectively just released an iOS update that includes all these tweaks. So right now you can go to the App Store, download Zashi iOS, and test all these features yourselves. We can't wait for your feedback. Please be aware that those functionalities are not yet available on Android. We will be making another update later this week or next week. It does include a few updates, but it doesn't include yet these new features. But be sure that we will start working on them very soon. And whenever we finish the bug fixing phase after the Android release, we will jump on implementing these new features and deliver them on Android as soon as possible. And what next? What comes next, right? That's the question. So you can see that I have shared some of the information that you might be already familiar with. You can find our roadmap on the website electriccoin.co/roadmap. So you can go through these things and kind of understand what's the scope for the different releases. But at the same time, I want to give you a bit of reasoning. Why are these things the priorities that we want to focus on? And just a little reminder, 1.1.x, why do we call it 1.1.x, right? Well, as I said, we want to ship often and fast. We want to make sure that we do not sit on the updates. We want to serve them hot. We want to iterate with you and change the features based on your feedback. So we are planning to release gradual updates whenever we have the functionalities ready. One of the big topics for 1.1 is supporting ZIP 320, which is an interesting update, especially for the SDKs, and one of the requirements from Binance. What are some of the tweaks that we want to make for Zashi can be kind of gathered under the umbrella of improving security and usability. We want to prioritize security because we are talking about funds here, and we want to make sure that you will be able to use Zashi and not worry about somebody getting access to your funds. So we want to implement system authentication. As you saw, we already implemented on iOS showing balances and hiding balances, and we have other usability updates planned. We want to introduce currency conversion, so adding effectively American dollar to ZAC inside Zashi, and we also want to localize the app in Spanish because we want to make sure that Zashi is also available to non-English speakers in areas of need. There are other UX improvements that we want to squeeze in. I know our scope is bold, but at the same time, just be aware, because our scope is bold, our timelines have to be a little flexible. We want to add multi-recipient transactions, so effectively solving the tip the barista problem. We want to focus on a server switch optimization to account for situations when the servers go down or are not as performant as they should be. And we also want to focus on implementing transaction resubmission to improve the UX for failed transactions. 1.2.x is all about payment integrations. I have heard it mentioned a few times this week that the places where you spend a ZAC, the places where you can effectively transact with a ZAC, that's something that should be our focus. We should make sure that the users can transact, and so that's why we want to make it our priority. And we have 3 integrations in plan. One of them is gift card integration with Radom. The other payment integration is Flexa Layers SDK and their SpendKit integration. And we also want to integrate on-ramp with Coinbase. So we want to allow you to buy ZAC directly inside Zashi. Other usability improvements include enabling address rotation to improve security, or adding quick controls to the send functionality. 1.3.x is a little smaller because you probably noticed that the scope for 1.2 is very optimistic and very big. So we want to make sure that we are mindful of that. And here the scope is a little smaller. We do have important things that we want to do though. And one of the most important ones is improvements to spend latency. We do realize that speed is important, and we want to make sure that we do everything in our power to improve this for better. We also want to allow users to import viewing keys, so effectively creating a view-only wallet. And we want to make sure to improve usability by supporting spam filtering for faster restore and doing other minor UX improvements. What is Zashi 2.0, you ask? Well, you can help us find out, right? Our product priorities that we want to consider, some of them have been moved from the discovery topics from our 1.1 releases, and some of them are from 2.0 releases. You can see that we have a lot of things to look into and think about. They include messaging and liberated payments, debit card purchases, starting to look at hardware integration, and improving usability of the app by lowering the amount of effort needed to keep the wallet. So focusing on seed phrase management without the necessity of the user backing it up, or focusing on social recovery to make sure that we eliminate possibilities for fund loss. Other topics that keep buzzing inside the community are also DEX integration and ZSA support. If you guys feel like whiteboarding with me in person, or if you want to tell us what you think we should build, make sure that you sign up for our Q3 planning session that's going to happen in July in San Diego. We will be so happy to have you there. Okay, and lastly, I want to make sure that I also give you some call to action. So if you haven't used Zashi before, make sure that you download it. You can see QR codes that have embedded links for downloading Zashi on iOS and Android. And if you want to give us feedback, give us your thoughts, opinions, suggest new features, make sure that you join our Zashi Discord server. We are we have basically a few channels with design feedback, bug reports, tech questions, and Zashi chat, where you can engage with us and let us know what you think. So we think this is incredibly important, and we really want to make sure that we keep building a Zashi with you guys and learn from the feedback that you can provide. All right, and that's effectively what I had ready for you when sharing information. And now I want to give you guys a chance to answer some of the questions that have come in. Thank you, Josh, for popping in and helping me with some of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andrea. That's a lot of fun. And so, and thanks for doing it. Like, Andrea has been amazing coming on board just this year with ECC, made such a huge impact for our team, and we would not have been able to get this shipped without her. And you're gonna love engaging with her and working. She's been also like she handles all our support tickets. She's in Discord, so she is all over the place. So, all right, so let's hit these questions real quick. The first question is, loved what Josh said during the Dev Fund discussion about prioritizing end use cases and making a full stack experience designed for people looking to build on top of the protocol. How can this experience be made as accessible as possible to ecosystem participants with little or no background in Zcash systems, or even those with little experience in coding? So great question. We're really, again, like, there's multiple layers to a stack, like anything. And the further you go down into the kind of bowels of Zcash, the more complicated it gets. And we've talked about that and making that easier. You know, especially when we get into some of the with Zebra D. And then hopefully it gets easier and easier to engage at different layers of the stack as we release capabilities. So with the SDKs and being able to build kind of your own stuff, we're, again, open sourcing all of our source code for iOS, or it's open sourced for iOS and Android. And so we want to make that as available and as accessible to everybody. The community helps us a ton too, as Andrea mentioned, right? People putting out little tutorials and explainers, because we have a very small and humble team. So anything that the community can do to help us kind of build it so that it's easier. Let us know also if you're saying like, this is just way too hard, or it'd be great to explain this thing. Give us that feedback. I mean, we're taking all that in. We log it all in the system. Andrea manages all of that. We work for prioritization, and it's incredibly helpful for us. And again, the other thing that she mentioned is localization. So we want to get as much out into communities as possible that aren't necessarily native English speakers, so that they can build things that are maybe unique to their context. The next question is what are your marketing plans to further boost the use of Zashi within the global community, taking into account that there are other wallets with more features? There are, and if you were on that last session, I think it's fantastic that there are so many builders building wallets for different types of audiences. And so we have a kind of a narrow focus in terms of what we're building. And if you love Y Wallet, awesome, go use it. If you want multi-currency stuff and want Edge, go use it. If you're a Zingo fan, awesome. I mean, these are all great, incredible options. For Zashi, what we've said is we really wanted to kind of focus in on our first 100 users, what we're calling our first 100 power users. And so we're really looking at a core group that are really active in giving us feedback as we build out something that will be broadly, more globally accessible for more people. So our first kind of marketing effort is within a narrow scope of Zcashers who are giving us that feedback, and then we'll look at marketing. So we do intend to market Zashi pretty heavily. This is it's different than like marketing, quote unquote, Zcash or a token. This is about the marketing utility that is coming through Zashi. And so even with the branding stuff, Zashi, if you don't know, by the way, Zashi is taken from Satoshis, which is the smallest unit that you can spend with Zcash. It's a fun name. Andrea had some stuff up with like Zashi your friends or Zashi your mom and things like that. So we're hoping that just everything just feels light and accessible, and not too complicated, and we're removing as much friction as possible to onboarding new people. The other thing I want to mention about the 100 users, which I didn't, is that those 100 users, we're really hoping to find people that have communities around them. So they're Zcashers, but they may be in a geography, or they may be with kind of a small subgroup. These kind of, everybody's got their tribes, and those tribes may not be crypto people, they may not be Zcash people, but how do we make it easy for those first 100 people to say, hey, download this real quick, let me send you something, and get rolling. And so I think you all in the community that are using it are the best source of marketing that we could possibly have. So that's all part of that strategy as well. The question, I think, is maybe the last one in here that I see. Are there plans for Zashi to expose the shielded receivers of the full unified address, diversified addresses? Right now, I don't think we have anything in our roadmap, Andrea, in terms of exposing shielded receivers, other kinds of shielded receivers. But we'll assume that that's a question based on interest, and we just need to know like what you're looking for there. I think in most cases, most of the wallets support unified addresses. There is a Gemini doesn't support unified addresses yet, so that's one of those cases where if you want to send to a shielded address on your Zashi wallet from Gemini, you can't right now. You have to send to a transparent because they don't support UA. So we need to get some more of those exchanges on board as well, being able to support those to maybe make that easier, which is probably a better option than exposing shielded receivers, because then it's like so many address types, people get so confused, and yeah.
Exactly my point. I think that's one of the pieces of feedback that has been repeated to us from users, that the address types are confusing for people who are new to Zcash, and that confusion creates another barrier for getting them onboarded. So I am right now more inclined in making it easier for the people and simplifying things, but it is entirely possible that we will go the path of creating a product for Zashi Pro users.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We're looking at, I don't know if it's it may be two versions, likely two versions of saying, like, there's this kind of Zashi basic, which is what you're seeing and what we're largely talking about. And then there's a more sophisticated set of capabilities for a pro user. And we may want to separate those two products. So that a pro user who really wants to do a lot of tinkering and configuration and their own things have access. But that's one of the things when we're talking about Zashi 2.0 and doing that planning coming up in July, that we'll take a look at whether or not that makes sense based upon feedback from you. And that's all the questions we have, Andrea.
Yeah, I was just checking the Who app, and it sounds like we have answered everything. That's amazing. We're pretty much on time. Thank you, Josh, for helping. To just sum it up and conclude, I want to give thanks to the Foundation for organizing this amazing event. I want to give a big shout out to Ryan, who is orchestrating all the live stream and having a lot of work in just making it possible for all of you to watch us right now. And I want to give a small thanks to the ECC team for becoming my new professional family, and especially to Josh for putting his trust in me as the new PM for Zashi. Thank you guys for watching, for tuning in, and don't forget, privacy is normal.